Now let us go through the documentation process in a policy. Documentation, the major part is prospectus. Prospectus is nothing but the brochure we call it, which talks in details about the product. It is a legal document, okay? Whether it's guaranteed, non-guaranteed, traditional, non-traditional, so these things. Proposal form is nothing but the form which is filled by the customer, where all the material requirements for assessment of risk has to be considered, okay? Because each policy, each customer, because we cannot give policy for everyone, because health keeps changing from person to person, okay? So whether you want to give an insurance or not, everything depends on the proposal form. Proposal form will have the entire details of the customer, and then agent report. This is we call as agent confidential report. If there are certain things which is not disclosed by the customer and the agent want to disclose that, it can be done. Okay, it will also be taken as consideration for you. Okay, because the customer fills the proposal form. Okay, proposal form and submits to the company. This form is submitted to the company, goes for a process called underwriting. Okay, so the customer decides based on this process. The process is called as underwriting. Okay, so documents. First, let me go through documents, then I will take it through underwriting process. Documents, medical examinations report, okay, is required. Now, medical examination will not be conducted for every cases. It will be conducted only for high submersion cases and high age. If age is very high and submersion is very high, it will be done, and it will be based on the medical examination report. Moral hazard, that is beyond proposal form. Wherever you find there is a risk associated with the customer, you can declare that. Okay, as an agent, that is moral hazard. Anti-money laundering is nothing but conversion of black money to white money. Okay, this is as per anti-money laundering is nothing but money laundering. Okay, bringing your illegal money, the economy. Okay, so they will ask a question: what is anti-money laundering? It is nothing but bringing illegal money illegally into the system. So if you can see a question, you can see the answer will be like this: illegal, illegal. Both will be answer will be illegal. Okay, it's nothing but illegal money illegally brought into the system is what we call as anti-money laundering. For that, we follow a process we call as KYS. To avoid that, KYC. Sorry, it's KYC. It's know your customer. So for that, what do you require to know better the customer? What we do, we collect photograph, age proof, proof of address, income proof in case of high value documentations. Proof of address, what all documents you can use? Remember, PAN card cannot be used as a proof of address. PAN card cannot be used as a proof of address. Why? Because there is no address there. Similarly, the ration card cannot be taken as a proof of date of birth. Why? Because there is no date of birth there. Free look period and cooling off period, we have already discussed on that. Then when it comes to documentation, see, as I mentioned you, when the customer submits the proposal form, it goes for the process called as underwriting. Okay, underwriting is nothing but assessment of risk. Okay, is called as assessment of risk. Post assessing the risk, the underwriter feels that the mortality is normal and the person is of good health, that the policy will be issued. So once the customer assumes the risk, the first document which will be issued is FPR. Okay, FPR is evidence of contract. Once the FPR is issued, then post the document will be sent for printing. So after 3 to 4 days, the customer will receive the policy document. Now what is evidence of contract? Evidence of contract is actually your policy document. But till that date, you can use the FPR as evidence of contract. And if once the FPR is issued, it shows that the evidence that the contract has begun. So till that date, FPR can be used. Now what is there in FPR? Your name, address, policy number, premium method, next due date, commencement, all details, nominee. Okay, these things come here. Next, policy document. Policy documents is the evidence of contract. Okay, it's the original policy, life insurance policy document that has to be used. Now, if you have lost your policy document, you can get a duplicate policy document. But remember that in a duplicate, the terms and conditions don't change. It's only a duplicate. Now, it has to be signed by a competent authority. We have an authority who will sign on each policy document, and we have to pay stamp fee. As per Indian Stamp Act, each policy has been stamped as per Indian Stamp Act. Now, what are the parts of a document? First is policy schedule. The policy schedule will have the entire details about the customer. His name, his date of birth, address, what type of plan, what is the maturity benefit, what is the mode of payment, yearly, quarterly, or half yearly, when, who is the nominee, is there additional riders he has taken. So those things. Standard provisions talks about the terms and conditions. Okay, if you don't pay premium, what will happen to the policy? What is the grace period in the policy? What is free look in the policy? Under what circumstances the claim will be paid? What are the risks which is covered? So these all comes under standard provisions. And you have said specific policy provisions. This is related to only specific people. See, standard is applicable for all. Specific is only for particular people. For example, a lady coming and applying for insurance during the pregnancy period. So here they will mention that a clause precluding death due to pregnancy of a lady. Okay, they will mention that during this period we will not be covering. Similarly, a person who is working in a high risk occupation like in an oil rig, a person who is working as in defense in an army, okay, as a pilot, so they have high risk, so they will put specific policy provision there. They will mention that it's applicable only for specific policies. That means your risk will not be covered when you are on duty. Okay, that is what we call specific. It is specific to particular policies only. Then we will talk about grace period. See, grace period is nothing but the time given by the company to pay the premium. See, I will tell you how grace period works for you. See, for example, remember today's due date. Okay, I have taken a policy today. Today is due date. Example, today is 25th September. Now the company has given a grace period. Okay, the grace period is normally 1 month. Okay, your answer is 1 month or 31 days. So what is the grace period? The grace period is going to be either 1 month or 31 days. See, for example, you are given 1 month time. So 24th October you are supposed to pay the premium. Now due date you are supposed to pay. If you are not able to pay, you can pay this premium within this 1 month or 31 days. So that what is the advantage? Here you can pay the premium. Option is given. Now if you are not able to pay the premium within this grace period, the policy will lapse. Now what is the date of lapse? The date of lapse will be due date. Okay, from this due date, that is from 25th September, the policy comes into lapse. Now once the policy is lapsed, then you have to come back and pay your premium with interest. Okay, with interest. How long? Normally for 5 years. So after lapsation, within 5 years, if you want, you can come back and renew your policy by paying with interest. Okay, this is what we call as reinstatement or revival. Now when you revive, first thing what they look is insurability. Remember that. Does the person have an insurable interest? Remember, a lapsed policy, okay, is always treated as a new policy. When you reinstate a policy, that will be always treated as a new policy in terms of conditions. But you will get all the benefits. The benefits will be continued. Now the question is, you see, are you covered during this period? Yes, you are covered during this period. So if death happens, the company will pay you the sum assured and reduce and deduct, okay, and they will reduce the pending premium, the premium which you have already been not paid. Okay, the premium here is pending. So sum assured, what will happen is sum assured minus premium, pending premium, minus pending will be paid, but there is a risk coverage is there. Once after this, no. Okay, that is lapse. Okay, deducted premium from the death benefit. The insurer may deduct the premium from the death benefit if it happens within the grace period. Now revival, outstanding premium with interest, fee for reinstatement, continued good health if it is more than 1 year. If policy is more than 1 year, they will look for continued good health. No increase in risk coverage will be done, and 5 years within the date of lapse. Okay, medical, some cases they might be medical. Revival is more often advantageous because buying a new policy would call for a higher premium. Remember, even if you lapse, people would think that why should I pay a premium and start a policy? See, for example, as I mentioned, as age increases, premium increases. 10 lakh is your sum assured. A guy who's 25-year-old is coming. He has to pay a premium of 5,000. 10 lakhs sum assured. Now same sum assured guy who is 26-year-old, the premium will be 5,100. So throughout the term this guy will pay 5,000 and this guy will be paying 5,100. Okay, so 25-year-old guy will be paying 5,000 and the 26-year-old guy will be paying 5,100 per year for next 20 years. Okay, so look at the difference. So it's always better to keep continuing the old policy, better than going for the new one. Now policy revival, there are different options given for you. And we call as ordinary revival. Ordinary is nothing but just to pay the premium with interest and continue the policy. Special revival is for policies which are less than 3 years old. Okay. For less than 3 years old policy, what they will do is they will put a new date. Okay, they will put a new date and they will issue a fresh policy. Okay, but that has to be within 2 years. Loan cum revival is nothing but, suppose your outstanding amount is very high, they will give a loan for you from that policy. Okay, see, for example, suppose pending premium comes around to 2 lakhs. So I can't pay this amount as 2 lakhs. So they will take a loan from the policy of 2 lakhs. Loan will be given, and company will pay all the, this amount will be paid into the pending premium, and I have to pay this amount as loan to the company. Okay, then installment revival. Installment means instead of lump sum they will give in installments. Okay, instead of 2 lakhs you pay me in 3 installments. Okay, this month 3, next month 3. That is what we call as installment. Non-forfeiture. Non-forfeiture option is available once you pay for 3 consecutive years. See, I have taken a policy in 2021, and if I have paid till 2023, okay, 21 is 1, 22 is 2, and I have paid 3. If 3 premiums have been paid, the policy occurs surrender value also. Surrender means if you can close the policy, you can close the policy, but there is no, there will be a charges for that. It's not advisable. And what will you get? You will get the surrender, guaranteed surrender value. It is given as guarantee. Minimum guarantee has to be given. Now loan is 90% of your surrender value. See, for example, I will give you a small situation. I have taken a policy which is 5 years old. We paid 1 lakh as premium. Okay. Now I want to surrender it in the 5th year. I have paid 5 lakhs. 1 lakh is my premium. I have paid 5 lakhs as premium. Now surrender value will be normally 40%. Okay, so out of 50,000, 5 lakhs, my surrender value, the amount which I will get back is only 2 lakhs. Assume. This is what we call a surrender value or cash value. It's always loss. Now if I want a loan, I will get only 90% of this as loan. That's why I will get only 1,80,000 as loan. So by paying 5 lakhs, I get only 1,80,000 as loan, and I have to pay interest rate which is 2% higher than market rate. Okay, so that is what we call as a policy loan.